Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show.
We're just having an entire conversation.
As always. Entire conversation right there.
I'm thinking we ought to start recording the in-between stuff.
Well, we used to have an idea. We said between the breaks.
Between the breaks.
And that was one of our ideas. We're still going to develop that right there. But if you want to call in, call us at 800-808-5548. We are live, able to take any phone call you have in regards to real estate, energy efficiency, green building, you name it. We can probably find an answer for it.
We have an answer for everything.
I would hope so.
Sometimes the answer is I don't know, but I'll go find out.
So, about nuclear fission.
Yes. I'll get back with you on that, Joe.
I actually read a great article on that recently.
Let me Google it.
Yeah.
There's an app for that.
So
And it's actually relevant to the energy show. Look at that. That was a... Anyway.
Well, one of our mutual individuals that we all do a lot of business with and think very highly of by the name of
David
Sherry
Sherry over at Visibly Connected.
Visibly Connected. I'd like to give him a big shout out. But, he does a lot of stuff for a lot of individuals actually in this room.
Yes, he does.
In regards to social media, in regards to blogging, in regards just really helping individuals and improve their communication.
Ironically, he handles 3 of the 5 people sitting at the table right now taking care of their individual businesses, but he takes care of the Real Estate Rat Pack.
That is correct.
Which is a wonderful thing, and he had invited on today a fantastic realtor.
Thank you.
Gwen Alexander.
Absolutely.
Woo.
Yay. Actually, I think Gwen, we were supposed to be on a while back, and something happened, and so
yeah, we had snafu with scheduling.
Well, Will Smith kept.
She had a death in the family.
Will Smith kept scheduling with us.
Yes.
We kept throwing our schedule off.
And Will is in the green room, and we hope to get him on for the last segment if we have enough time. So,
well, welcome to the show, Gwen.
Well, thank you.
Tell us what area of town that you work. Tell us a little about yourself.
I do. Oh gosh, I've been a realtor for 41 years.
Oh my!
What?
Just a little bit.
That is seasoned.
Very little.
That is
started when she was
right
2.
there.
I know. I started when I was 19. So I've been around a while in the North area.
You don't look a day past 21, by the way.
Thank
you.
Love it.
I would never thought it either, by the way.
But
41 years. Wow.
Yeah. My father owned the largest mortgage
still has
company
hair.
in the state, so I grew up in it.
Wow.
Mother was a realtor, sold all of land and all that. So, yeah. I didn't have a choice but where I was going.
And in Houston is where you started off at.
Yes, I grew up in Champions off 1960 when it was the spot, and now it has all moved north.
Yeah, so you work the spring in the
I
Woodlands
do spring
area?
in the Woodlands, a lot in Magnolia now.
Right.
And in a segue, you were kind of got in the midst of that question we were talking about. Of course, is energy audits, and of course, a lot of our conversation today is about energy.
Right.
And you were shaking your head that you had people are doing audits on that.
I have people that are buying older homes strictly for the location. They need to be in this particular area, and we've seen like Alden Bridge area has gone sky high. It used to be considered a little far out. Now it's the thing in the Woodlands all of a sudden. And my people went in there, and several clients have said, what can we do? The windows are old. You can see the ceiling cracked. Can we just caulk it? And I said, no, get HL&P or Reliant now. Yeah. Now you tell I'm old.
Wow.
Unfortunately, all of us in the room knew that reference. Yes.
Except Haley, she's going, what?
Yes.
So anyway.
For all those Houston Lighting and Power.
Yes. Reliant will come out and do an audit for free if you schedule them. And they give you like a 3-page documentary of everything you need to do in that house to make it energy efficient. Then you have to pick and choose which is feasible financially to do. So you don't want to put a ton of money. Like somebody asked me, well, I'm going to put a solar panel in. Well, how long are you going to live there? It's $17,000 to put it in there. You're going to recoup $5 on your kilowatts. You're going to live there for 30
That's a
years.
very good question. I had a friend of mine. I went to go eat lunch on Friday, actually, with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives up in the Woodlands. He actually lives over there in the Sterling Ridge area.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asked me, he said, hey, I got a question. He said, what would you think and what value would this add if I was to do 2 things in my home that I'm very interested in doing? I don't know if I can do them or not. He said, one is I want to go to solar panels. That way I can reduce down my consumption of energy. And secondly, I don't know if I could do this or not, but I want to look at thermal for heating. And I said, well, I think you'd have to probably have some issues with the HOA right there. But his question to me was, how much value on an existing property? Obviously, there's a big cost associated with it. What would the payback be? And we don't know what really the payback's going to be depending on what it is. But also, from a resale perspective, how does that look? Do individuals who are buying a home put more credence into somebody who has upgraded something to solar panels versus a traditional home that has nothing on it like that?
Depends on who you're asking, the man or the woman.
Gotcha.
If you ask the man,
Oh, wow.
he's into the energy efficiency. If you ask the woman, she's into the granite and the stainless and things like that. It's a total different split.
That's a perfect
Real
answer. Because
quickly,
I'm sitting there going, yeah, that would
Real
matter to me.
quickly, though, Chris, is that, I know Jim can answer a lot of these questions, and retrofitting a house is not the same as putting it into a new home. And
Oh,
and
absolutely.
so there's some
That's right.
spray-in things like that they're
Yes.
doing that work well with a new home, but don't necessarily work well with an old home. So we're probably going to address that with Jim said. I understand we have a caller. Is that
We
correct?
do have a caller right now. Gary, how are you doing?
Great. How are you guys this morning?
Doing
Fantastic.
very well, thank you.
Listen, I'm sorry that I missed her segment, but I just wanted to say hi to Haley and let all of your listeners know that she is an excellent realtor. We closed something a number of years ago in the Woodlands. I don't know if she remembers, but she was awesome. She's a Woodlands expert. She's been up there many years. And my client was the buyer, and she was very patient with my client. I just wanted
Sounds
to
like there was
let
a
all
story
your
behind
listeners-
that.
Yes, oh yeah.
let all your listeners know.
Well,
Absolutely. Well, Gary, thank you very much. One of the things Haley, I'm sure, really appreciates that. I don't know if you caught all that, Haley, but
I didn't.
you didn't. But basically, Gary was saying that you were an excellent realtor,
Well,
that
thank
you
you.
worked on a deal with him. You were very patient with one of his clients that he had up there, and he really, really appreciated that.
she's also an excellent realtor.
Well, thanks,
Yes.
Gary. I appreciate it. As we all know, patience is a virtue, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Gary. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's always a testimony to the folks we bring onto the show. We preach it.
Only bring on professionals.
We only bring on experts, and we're always fortunate to be able to get wonderful guests, and it's great when we have our listeners that can verify that and back it up.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I know we were talking about that in regards to. I know Rob had asked that question. It's a lot, and we are going to be talking obviously with Jim about retrofitting versus what he does, which is building new homes. But you mentioned it depends on if you ask the woman
Absolutely.
or the man.
It's very different. So men are wanting to save money. They want that total figure right in front of them. What is this going to cost me? And the woman could usually care less, even if she is the breadwinner of the family, which we're seeing a lot of now. She doesn't care.
That's funny, but it makes complete sense.
It does actually, because that was his when we were eating on Friday. That's what he said. I said, got a question. I said, have you done an estimate? And he said, yes. He said, and I said, have you spoken to your wife, which is a really good friend of mine? He goes, yes. And I goes, so what's the difference? He goes, she feels that money is better spent at this time somewhere else or doing something else, versus where I think is long term I'll be able to cut my bill down. And I'm like, well, if you're going to cut your bill down by $300, but it's going to cost you $30,000 to make this, what's your true ROI over that period of time?
Plus, you
right?
get some tax credits, though, when you do that. And
Yeah.
He was mentioning that as well. But however, there's still an expenditure. So a tax cut
and
is a
sometimes
big
it's
difference.
about saving the environment, too.
Right.
So there's some bigger issues at hand other than just the immediate dollar
yeah.
saving. The other thing you'd mentioned about HOAs is that actually in the 2013 legislature, they actually passed something that they cannot disallow energy efficiency being retrofitted on an existing home. Now,
Really?
they
That's interesting.
You cannot stop them from doing it, but I imagine they're probably going to ask you to put the panels on the back part of the house in
Right.
most cases. But they absolutely cannot restrict you from doing it.
Well, a lot of times
now.
they're putting them on the
That's
trestles
good.
nowadays. A lot of homes putting them not actually on the home. They're doing like a trestle type system. They
Right.
put them out there. And so what do they end up doing? What I've seen in some of the retrofitting is they actually go out there and make this really nice expansion into their patio, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where a lot of these solar panels are end up going.
Yeah, but again, the HOA is going to have some say-so, but they can't prohibit you.
Right.
So that was a
Well, that's
nice
good.
That's
change.
correct. But I know our HOA and several said it can't be seen from the street. They just
Yeah,
want
and
it
I
tucked
imagine,
away.
I imagine
Right.
that's going to change eventually.
Jim is motioning us something over there. He said, is that going away?
Yeah, they don't. They really the way the law reads is that, and Texas had to pass it because all that came down in 2009 when they had the stimulus package, and the state got a lot of dollars, And part of the thing, they had to change the HOA rules, take away some of the authorities they have. The unsightliness argument for the HOA is not valid. The only thing that they can argue is that if it's dangerous, meaning it's like 6 feet off the ground or something.
I will tell ours. They're still sending letters out.
Sure.
They're trying.
Yeah, if you email me, I'll send you the copy of the legislation on that.
So there you go. So if you're having issues with your HOA, telling you can't put
well,
solar panels
we've
on-
been taking the teeth out of HOA. In fact,
Yes,
that's what
we have.
a lot of our tree pack dollars go towards is working with the legislature to take away the fangs of HOAs. If you recall, exactly in the Champions area,
They
when that
took
woman's
it.
house
Oh,
was
that was
foreclosed on
horrible.
for a past due HOA bill.
Right.
And sold to an insider.
Well,
what a shock!
What a shock.
My HOA used to be run by the Gestapo, but they have recently gotten better.
Please,
so,
you ex-Gestapo, please don't call us.
Right. But
Yeah.
you know, she did get her house back.
Yes, I know
Yes,
she
that is
did, but
correct.
it took a lot of efforts and things like
Right.
that. It was never should have happened.
Absolutely.
But that's one of our little rabbit trails that we go down on
Yes.
occasion. So anyway, we go back to energy efficiency, and you're talking about get the audits. So when they get these audits back, do they usually act on all the items on the audit, or
Low E windows seems to be the first thing they put in. It's not a big cost, but it is a big saver. So, and it's a nicer appearance.
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say
an
it's a
older
nicer
home.
appearance,
That's
too.
right. It's a good resale tool for a person in a home. So that's one thing, and they do recommend that on almost every sheet I've seen.
and I've said this so many times that no one ever buys a whole house. They always buy a part of the house.
Right.
And they're going to go, and they'll remember that house. Oh, it's got new windows or granite countertops or whatever.
Yes.
Or outdoor kitchen, but usually it's some component, and oftentimes this thing's already been retrofitted for energy. I don't have to do it.
Right.
I know the
So
windows
goes
in my
up.
house stink.
Yes.
They're absolutely horrendous.
Except, we're going to move you into a new Jim Waller home
Yeah.
over here, Solaris home, and
I can cook a hot dog in front of my windows during the summer. It's like a convection oven.
What does that tell you, Kim? You need to work on this.
But Rob, one of the things that I saw in the deal at one place that they came out to, they had, their plugs in for their iPad, their plugs in for their phone. And he said, why are you leaving these plugged in? They said, well, I charge everything at night. Well, it's phantom energy. It's a vampire. They're still sucking electricity. If you just unplug the things you don't use, it's $1.50 for every cord per month is what HLMP.
Wow.
Reliant.
Wow, $1.50 per cord.
$1.50 for every cord you have plugged in. that you're
Holy
not
cow.
using.
Kim, unplug everything.
We are coming up against a break again. Gwen, let us know where we can reach you if you don't mind.
I am at Texas Home Group on 2920, and you can reach me at my direct number, which is 281-370-2525, or you can reach me at gwenalexander.com.
And she's not going anywhere. She is coming back for our last segment when we have our open mic. But we're up against a break right now, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy